even 6%. It's just used to be 9. Here's the point. Now, for the first time, real inflation is coming down. Look at egg prices right there. Those are real, actual egg prices, and they're dropping like a rock, and they're dropping fast. You can see 2025 because we have a new sheriff in town. We have someone who actually cares about the economy. Something else really important happened in the last couple of weeks. This inflation report showed that the fourth quarter inflation under Biden was actually higher than they were reporting. It was revised up, meaning things were much worse than they were telling us in the fourth quarter of 2024 when Biden was president. So this whole last couple of months, the month of Trump being fully president, the month prior where they split a month, half the time was Biden, a third of the time, 2/3 was Biden, a third was Trump. It was still Biden policies. Remember, he pushed out tens of billions of dollars out the door in his last few days in office. That's inflationary. It takes a while to get that through the system. So right now, Trump can take credit for the big drop in egg prices, the big drop in inflation prices that have happened as of today. And I think you're going to see a lot more. Oil under Trump, as drill baby drill, will bring prices down as well. Good news on the economy. And we told you, by the way, we told you yesterday, remember when after the close of the market, 407, Trump was with Elon Musk looking at Teslas yesterday at the White House. Remember that? And I said, watch what happens tomorrow. Tesla's going to go way up. Tesla went up $17.50 today. Up $17.50 today. These guys know what they're doing, folks. Don't mess with them. Democrats, however, have no desire to make anything in this country better. Immediately after losing the election, they resorted to name calling and haven't let their foot off that gas since. Listen to Elisa Slotkin, a former CIA officer and current senator, Democrat, talk about her thoughts on us, on half of America, MAGA. Listen.
Right. I think there's a feeling in the country. I mean, I often say this, we're about to turn 250 years old, right? We're still pretty young for a country. These are our like our angry teenage years, right? We are going through this push and pull where we're happy, we're sad, we want this, we want that. And what do you do when you have a teenager who's threatening themselves and others? You just try to get them through this period alive so that their brain can fully form and you can come back to kind of what
Are
a
you
country.
talking about Trump?
No, I'm talking about our country. We're pendulum swinging. We're pendulum swinging. And so for me, I think I don't think there's a single American who feels like this is normal.
Well, Senator Slotkin, you should realize it was 4 years of miserable Bidenomics, miserable wokeness, miserable cancel culture. And yeah, the pendulum did swing. Unfortunately for you, it swung the wrong way. It was all the way left. And now it's coming back ever so slightly to the center. And you don't like it one bit when it's just a little bit back our way, do you? Wait till it keeps going. Just don't get in the way of that pendulum, my dear Senator Slotnick. But in case you have missed a very eventful day at the White House, yesterday was wild. Donald Trump bought a Tesla car on television. He had some hysterical one-liners for his predecessor, Sleepy Joe Biden. Listen.
Let me get in this second. You want my notes?
Yeah.
They gave me notes. I said, I'm not Biden. I don't need notes.
Yeah. There's no gears.
This is really amazing. It's really amazing. Let's take a look at that. Think Biden could get into that car?
And again, Donald Trump saying, I'm going to buy a Tesla, and Elon Musk saying he's going to double the Tesla output in America and saying it after the market closed yesterday. You knew it was going to happen today. You just saw it. I've been doing this a long time. $17.50 higher, billions and billions of market value added onto Tesla in one day. But this is one of the best clips of the day. Congressman Bill Keating threw an absolute tantrum, a conniption, as they say in New York, when Sarah McBride, the dude who's pretending to be a girl, was introduced on the House floor as Mr. This is great. Listen.
I now recognize the representative from Delaware, Mr. McBride.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Ranking Member Keating, also wonderful.
Mr. Chairman, could you repeat your introduction again, please?
Yes, we have set the standard on the floor of the House, and I'm simply...
What is that standard, Mr. Chairman? Would you repeat what you just said when you introduced a duly elected representative from the United States of America? Please.
I will. The representative from Delaware, Mr. McBride.
Mr. Chairman, you are out of order. Mr. Chairman, have you no decency? I mean, I've come to know you a little bit, but this is not decent.
We will continue this.
You will not continue it with me unless you introduce a duly elected representative the right way.
This hearing is adjourned.
That was great. It was so good. Obviously, the ranking member is a Republican. We hold the House, and and the chairman says, we introduce Mr. McBride, and the other dude, the Keating's like, throws the conniption, like introduce him the proper way. You know what he should have done? The chairman should have said, okay, the gentleman from New York. That would have been just the perfect moment, but I digress. The claims from Canada getting worse and worse by the day. I understand our northern neighbors have very little to be proud of right now, but listen to the disgusting comments that were made about Donald Trump. Listen.
We need to have a government that remains solid. Team Canada that can say to Donald Trump, go pound sand or go suck eggs. Although, as I said, I now realize there's a tariff on sand and they may not be able to afford eggs. Reminds me of his attitude towards women. He's a serial misogynist, sexual abuser, rapist. He's in the White House. What's he want to do? Take Greenland out to buy expensive furniture?
So Canada, you want to do this? And by the way, this woman's name is Canadian Green Party leader, Elizabeth May. Elizabeth May, write it down, because I would be willing to bet the Trump team of lawyers will be knocking on your door with subpoenaing you with an affidavit to appear in court, because he should sue the living daylights out of you. You called him a rapist. You called the president of the United States a rapist. He's not a rapist. Not a rapist. You're wrong. You're libelous, and you're going to get in a lot of trouble, Ms. Elizabeth May from the Canadian Green Party. All right, leave it to MSNBC to justify violence against Tesla as nothing more than a protest.
But then you also overnight have this post claiming that protests at Tesla dealerships are illegal. He said today he would label violence against dealerships domestic terrorism. Now, you know I am judicious in how I play this sound, but I think you need to hear it from him.
Mr. President talks about some of the violence that's been going on around the country at dealerships. Some say they should be labeled domestic terrorists.
I will do that. I'll do it. I'm going to stop them. We catch anybody doing it because they're harming a great American company. Let me tell you, you do it to Tesla and you do it to any company, we're going to catch you and you're going to go through hell.
So just to be clear, you protest a private company, you are labeled by this administration a domestic terrorist.
So this dumbass host on MSNBC says, just to be clear, you protest a dealership and that's something wrong with it. No, there's nothing wrong with protest. It's a clear First Amendment. It's well written out. You have the right to protest. You have a right to. You don't have a right to torch a Tesla dealership like they were doing. They were burning down Tesla dealerships. That's not a protest. That's not even vandalism. That's terrorism. And for all you idiots who said peaceful protests in the summer of 2020, George Floyd, maybe that's what it is. That's what they consider a peaceful protest. When there's buildings on fire and bullets flying, that's a peaceful protest to MSNBC. Got it wrong. You guys suck. Here's a good one. Angel Reese. Let me set this up a little bit. Angel Reese is a WNBA player. Angel Reese is one of those players on the women's side who believe that women basketball players should make the same amount of money as the male counterparts in the NBA, even threatening to sit out a season. By the way, Angel Reese, I think she's only in her first or second year of her contract, right? Okay, if you're going to ask for more money, I mean, it's ridiculous because you don't bring in near the viewership that the men do. But if you want to ask for more money, make your case. But I wouldn't use this video as making your case for more money. Watch. Look at that. Misses one. There's her second layup. She misses. She gets her own rebound. Good for her. And she misses her third layup. I mean, those aren't hard shots, folks. Those are simple little layups. You got to make those shots, Angel. I think Angel Reese, I think she is the one who kept fighting with Caitlin Collins. Caitlin Collins? Which is the one on CNN? Caitlin Clark. Thank you, Mad Dog. One of them's a basketball player. One of them does a crappy show on NBC CNN that no one watches. So anyway, Angel Reese, if you're going to ask for the same money, you better be able to make some layups. All right, we have a lot more. Bud Light. Remember Dylan Mulvaney, the one who wrecked Bud Light, cost Bud Light $18 billion in sales and $100 billion in market share because he pretended to be a she, and Bud Light thought it would be a good idea to give that person some sort of, I don't know, marketing agreement, tank the stock. Well, apparently he has a book out and he was on The View yesterday. Stick around. We're going to show a little of that and reaction from someone who used to be a high-level executive at Anheuser-Busch. Right back. Look at that. Mad Dog, you did it. You got Cleveland spelled right. Look at that. You used one L.
I did it this time.
And the second C-L-E-V-E-L, not L-L-A-N-D, like Marco Island. All right, folks, you've seen it before. When disaster strikes, grocery store shelves go empty overnight. The worst time to prepare is during the aftermath. By then, it's already too late. Smart Americans trust My Patriot Supply to help them prepare for crisis before the crisis comes. And right now, they're making it easier than ever. Order their 4-week emergency food supply today and get a 72-hour food kit completely free. That's almost 2 weeks of bonus meals at no cost. Each of these kits offers over 2,000 calories per day of delicious, easy-to-prepare meals that last up to 25 years. That's real peace of mind. No last-minute panic. No empty shelves. Just knowing you're covered. So important. Stock up today before this deal disappears, because when an emergency hits, food will be the first thing to go. Go to mypatriotsupply.com to claim your kit plus an extra 12 days of food free. Go to mypatriotsupply.com. Alrighty, I kind of teased this next guest. He's had an amazing career. He's the founder of Athletic Capital and the co-founder of Strive Asset Management with, by the way, Vivek Ramaswamy, I believe he's still involved. He was also president of Anheuser-Busch before the company took a tumble with TikTok personality Dylan Mulvaney. Anson Fredericks joins us right now. Anson, good to see you again. We've been doing this over the past couple of years, you and I, talking about the fallout out of Dylan Mulvaney. Let me do this though. Dylan Mulvaney, the dude who likes to act like a girl, was on The View. He's got some book tour going on, but here's how he explains this whole fallout of Anheuser-Busch. Listen.
Well, I will start by saying I love beer, and I always have.
I was going to say, what were they thinking?
So, I mean, when I took that deal, I didn't think anything of it because I was like, oh, this is perfect. It felt like an organic thing to do, and because it was just another part of me. And I think what was so confusing about how it was going on was that it kept going, and I realized I had become the poster child for this thing when transness is just a small part of me. I'm a musical theater girl through and through. And so I think that as that was, I didn't have all the resources that I needed to get through. And I'm the most privileged of transness. So I think that just goes to show how the rest of the community is hurting and the resources that we need.
Anson, we watched the fallout. I think the sales of Bud Light tanked like $16 billion or some number like that, and took down the company, the corporate structure, down another $80 or $90 billion, some insane number like that. What's your response when you see Dylan Mulvaney out there kind of playing the victim yet again?
Yeah, I think that this just shows about how lost Bud Light was as a brand 2 years ago, when in Dylan's words, Dylan is a musical theater girl. And in the history of Bud Light, I don't think Bud Light ever sponsored musical theater girls. And you see how far they've come now, where I give them a lot of credit. They're now sponsoring the Ultimate Fighting Championship. They're sponsoring Shane Gillis. That's what authentically Bud Light was. And the problem with it actually isn't with musical theater girls. It's the fact that Dylan Mulvaney became a very controversial transgender advocate. You've seen Dylan advocate for biological men to compete against women in sports and advocate for gender affirmation care. And these are things that are very politically charged. And that's not what ever Bud Light was. Bud Light was not one of these brands like Ben and Jerry's that got involved in political social issues. They were about sports and music and bringing folks together. That was the problem with the partnership. And that's why Bud Light got themselves in hot water, because this was an inauthentic partnership with a politically charged person that Bud Light had never done beforehand.
And I'm guessing they're not going to do it again. And I guess you have to give credit to the American consumer to let them off the hook. Either that or it's that good of a beer. Frankly, I don't like light beer. I drink vodka. Just light beer doesn't taste like anything to me. But here's a good friend of mine. In fact, I texted him just before the show. Here's a good friend of mine's reaction to the whole fiasco of Bud Light doing this with the trans dude. Watch.
Grandpa's feeling a little frisky today. Let me say something to all you and be as clear and concise as possible. Bud Light and Anheuser-Busch. Have a terrific day.
How much you love Kid Rock? I love that guy. In fact, I'm trying to get him on. He's starting to tour next week. We're doing everything in our power. But so he kind of spoke for so many people like me when he did that. Have they turned the corner in, what is it, a year, maybe? And maybe even, I don't know, is it less than a year? What do you think, Anson?
No, it's crazy. Bolling, so we're actually coming up with a 2-year anniversary of the Bud Light Dylan Mulvaney partnership. It actually happened on April Fool's Day of 2023. So April 1st, 2023. A lot of people, again, thought that this partnership was a joke. And then not only was the partnership itself problematic, but you might recall you had Bud Light's VP of marketing at the time, Alyssa Heinerschein, who was on a Zoom call that week calling the Bud Light consumer essentially fratty and out of touch. And then their CEO, Brendan Whitworth, a week or so later, released this nothing burger statement where he neither apologized to consumers like Kid Rock. They just wanted Bud Light to be funny and authentic and humorous. And then nor did he come out to people on the left that started boycotting it, asked him to do more partnerships with people like Dylan Mulvaney. And so he was caught between this whole rock and a hard place, ended up doing nothing. And the sales were down 30% that first year. They were down another 10% last year, and they're trending down again. So I mean, this is a brand.
So this is really what I want to get to. They're still trending down, even though Bud Light was all over the Super Bowl. Shane Gillis, did a couple of Bud Light ads in the Super Bowl. You hear about Dana White with UFC. using Bud Light as a sponsor. I'm not even positive. My good friend Kid Rock didn't have some Bud Light at one of his concerts recently, and I'm just blown away. But so does it trend back up, or have people really gone to what it was in Modelo? Is that what it was that took over as the most popular beer in America?
Yeah, Modelo took over as the most popular beer in America. I think here's the big problem is that the Bud Light consumers has lost trust with Bud Light. And the biggest reason is that they have yet to get an apology. I always say like the path to redemption, it goes through forgiveness. But to be forgiven, you have to admit that you screwed up. I think people like Kid Rock have actually come back to it because he said on Joe Rogan's podcast that the CEO of Anheuser-Busch, Brendan Woodward, flew out, met with him, said we screwed up. Dana White in UFC, he got $100 million from them. And so he's kind of back. But the regular American consumer, the regular beer drinker is still sitting out there and wondering, what is Bud Light? How can I trust Bud Light? Are they going to be doing Super Bowl commercials with Shane Gillis? Or the next years are going to be with Dylan Mulvaney? I want to know. Let me know, guys, where you guys are heading. I don't think until they do that, they're not going to get back.
I don't know. I think they learned their lesson, and I think a lot of people did. I think you see a lot of universities dropping their DEI studies and transgender studies as majors, and you see the big corporate entities that used to focus on hiring DEI are moving away from it, which is good. But then again, just roll not the soundbite control, Mad Dog. Just roll it as VO. We call it VO, voice over. I just want to see it because here's Dylan Mulvaney on The View, very popular talk show, and the hosts are all like really kind of surrounding him like he's the victim again. Is it just is the pendulum swinging back their way this quickly? Anson, I want to know.
Are you doing a clip? Or are you asking?
No. I'm just showing people of Dylan Mulvaney on The View yesterday. Like, are they embracing this whole trans movement again already? Haven't The View learned their lesson too?
Well, I think The View. I mean, they're off in a different universe right now. I don't think they ever left. They're still embracing the idea that biological men should compete against women in sports and some of the more controversial parts of sort of the transgender movement. So I don't think they've ever left that. But I think the rest of America is getting back towards just business, especially corporations are not going to try and be performative anymore. I think you went into like a big issue, and if it's all right, I'll put in a quick plug for my book. I have this book called Last Call for Bud Light that's out right now that talks actually more about this problem. Is you have certain companies like Anheuser-Busch InBev, and they're actually Anheuser-Busch is a foreign-owned company. It's owned by this company called InBev over in Europe, and Europe is now pushing more of this ESG and DEI agenda onto American companies. It's the reason that Anheuser-Busch has yet to walk back the DEI commitments that they have made, unlike companies like Walmart or Tractor Supply Company that said, hey, this didn't work. It didn't compete and make us more competitive. It didn't make us more money. It didn't actually create a more diverse workforce. So we're walking it back. Anheuser-Busch InBev has yet to do that, mostly because they're a European-owned company. And I think until they maybe even think about selling Anheuser-Busch back in the United States to U.S. investors, I don't know if they're going to be able to do that because of this European ownership.
That's interesting. Also, given Trump wanting to put tariffs on foreign imports, maybe it's time to call it like it really is, a foreign company, and tax that and tariff that stuff to come back over here. I think there are a lot of people. That's one tariff I'd be in favor of, a Bud Light and Anheuser-Busch tariff on imports of that garbage right there. And I got an idea. Let's export Dylan Mulvaney. What do you say about that?
Yeah, I mean, Bolling, I think this is not even Anheuser-Busch. There's other companies. I mean, TikTok, it's owned by the Chinese, effectively the Chinese government. You have Anheuser-Busch owned by Europe InBev. The U.S. is moving in a different direction. We're having companies get back to business, back to the bottom line, to focusing on just creating great products and services, hiring the best and the brightest. The rest of the world's not going that direction.
You even have a governor of California who's defended that trans LGBTQ community for 50 years saying, it's unfair to have men in women's sports. It might be unfair. Anson Frericks, thank you so much for your time. Appreciate your time, man.
Thanks for having me. Really appreciate it.
All right, folks, we shall be right back. just got Arizona. Look at the weather. Starting to roll on in from the mountains. All right, the IRS, folks, is the largest collection agency in the world. And with April 15th approaching fast, it's more aggressive than ever. In 2025, enforcement has ramped up. And if you owe back taxes or have unfiled returns, waiting is no longer an option. The longer you do wait, the worse it gets for you. Ignoring your tax troubles is the worst thing you can do. April 15th marks another tax year that's passed you by. Getting ahead of this now is the smart move, but never, ever, never, never, never contact the IRS alone. Instead, let the experts at Tax Network USA handle it for you. Why? Because not all tax resolution companies are the same. Tax Network USA has a preferred direct line to the IRS, meaning they know exactly which agents to deal with and, by the way, more importantly, which to avoid. With proven strategies to settle tax problems in your favor, whether you owe $10,000 or $10 million, Tax Network USA's attorneys and negotiators have already resolved over $1 billion in tax debt. Talk with one of their strategists today. It's free. Stop the threatening letters. Stop looking over your shoulder and protect yourself from property seizures and bank levies. Don't let the IRS control your future. Call 1-800-905-8000 or visit tnusa.com/RAV. April 15th. Just around the corner, folks. Act now before the IRS acts first on you. Alrighty, we head back to the border to find out the latest with host of Law and Border, Ben Bergquist. Ben, we were going to talk to you a little bit yesterday, and then Trump had that amazing little show outside of the White House in the North Lawn with the Teslas lined up over there. We couldn't get you in yesterday, but we wanted to bring you in today. Now, they tell me you got some really cool stuff and some things that we really need to be looking at. So I'll let you take it away and start it, and we'll have a little discussion on the backside. So go for it, brother.
Yeah, Eric, we started off in San Diego, California, did some night ops out there, up in some of the cartel-heavy areas right across from Tijuana. We were doing some thermal footage and showing some of the neighborhoods where basically the cartels control everything. And then continued on our way. We were just out in Sasabe, just left Sasabe, actually just came east past Nogales. Now I'm out in this area of the Coronado National Forest. And you can see behind me, just to set up where we are, that is the border right here. This is the border wall. It's Normandy barrier. There is no wall here. Like much of the border, had President Trump been in the last 4 years, all of these stretches would be wall. He had started finishing all of these stretches, and Joe Biden stopped it all. But this is one of the major stretches. Huge narco trafficking through here. A lot of drugs run right across this area, up and over the mountains into Arizona, into Sierra Vista, Arizona, and beyond that. Last night we were out with Tim Foley of Arizona Border Recon. Border Patrol was down there. We were about to leave. We actually confronted an NGO that had been dropping water and food and supplies for the cartels. And as we were about to leave, we were coming down a road and saw Border Patrol activity. Went up on top of the mountain and were told that there was an operation ongoing. It was a standoff basically between Border Patrol and armed cartel members just outside of Sasabe. It ended up with the cartel members moving off the mountain and Border Patrol holding the ground there. But it just shows you this is a war. This is the war that we should be focused on. It is the war that President Trump is focused on, and it's just beginning.
Yeah, hey, Ben, so show us that shot again, guys. Can you take that shot? Because this is important. So I think you said, and I think it's very close. It's Nogales, Mexico, right? Nogales is, it's a border city, but it's a city. It's a thriving city. Now, I want to see the Ben shot. I want to see Ben shot with that fake wall, whatever that wall is supposed to be. So you're not, how far, on the Mexican side, how far is that from Nogales? And then how far would it be on the American side, say, from, I don't know, your first border town, or maybe even up to Tucson?
So from Nogales, U.S. and Mexico side of Nogales, we're about 20 miles out. From Naco, Arizona, it's about the same, about 30 miles in that direction. Just to show you,
I don't want to interrupt, just to understand something. We're not talking about 100 miles of desert. We're talking about, you get in a pickup truck and drop 20 people off, and they just slide right under that little fence there. Go ahead. I didn't mean to interrupt.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
No, you're absolutely right. They can drive up. All of this is accessible on the Mexico side. You've got roads all the way up to it. You could drive a pickup truck loaded with dope, drive it right up to the wall. You could have another vehicle right here. You know, we're out here doing good, but you could have somebody out here doing bad. They pick up. They can drive in any direction they want. They don't even have to drive down this road. We just actually drove across this field to get here. They can go anywhere they want. And when Joe Biden was in office, there was no Border Patrol out here. The one bright light in all of this is now we have Border Patrol instead of babysitting cartel members and being Ubers for the cartel and processing these fake asylum seekers. They're actually out here on the line. We just had one drive by me just a minute ago. So at least they're out here occupying it. But for 4 years when Joe Biden was here, I didn't see a single Border Patrol agent here. Not one single Border Patrol agent. So these areas were just totally wide open for the cartels. You know, and they still are until we get the wall. We need that wall for sure.
Yeah, we need the wall. You even need the wall near the legal crossings because, as you know,
that's right.
If you literally go, I don't know, 200-300 yards away from the legal crossing. It's very busy at the crossing, and then you look over, whatever, half a mile down the road, and you can see just wide open, especially if the Rio Grande is only a couple feet deep. And you see a Border Patrol agent here or there, but they're not doing anything, not against the Border Patrol, but you'll see people crossing the border because they haven't, during the Biden years, they weren't charged to do anything. They were told not to do anything. My question is, when they see them now, are they stopping people for sure, every single one of them that they can see?
Yeah, they are. And they're actually, instead of just stopping them, the big difference is they ended the CBP One app and the Remain in Mexico policy is back in effect. And so if you're coming to claim asylum, they're pushing you back into Mexico and saying, hey, you can't cross here. You have to wait in Mexico for your asylum claim. So that stops most of it. The guys that are coming out here, they aren't the fake asylum seekers. The people that are coming out here are dope mules. They're the guys in all camouflage where they buy their gear in places like Sonoita, which is not too far from here. And then they come across and they're going up into the mountains to hide out. They're carrying the drugs. They're the former criminals. They're the terrorists. They're the people that really don't want to get caught. Those are the guys out here. And you can mark my words, Border Patrol out here is on the hunt. These guys are hungry to catch these guys. They've let them go for the last 4 years, and they're after them right now. That's what they want to do. A lot of these guys are former military. They've served their country for decades. They were told to stand down for 4 years under Biden. Now the green light has been given, and they're going after them.
Ben, you spend enough time with the Border Patrol and CBP and ICE and whatnot, and you'll have a conversation with them. How much, all these efforts, all these billions upon billions of dollars that we put on it, and we need to do it. I'm not saying we shouldn't do it. We need to do it. But you ask them, and they'll almost to a person tell you, if you say, how much are we stopping and how much gets through? And the number's staggering. And I've heard this number repeated over and over. We stop about 2% of the drugs that come through. 2%.
Yeah, I was just meeting with Homeland Security, some friends of mine. I can't say where I was meeting them, but I was meeting them, and they said about 5 to 6% is what we actually stop of drugs that come through. So, 95% is coming through. It's making it to the market. It is. It's staggering. And on top of that, so if the drugs can get through, what about really bad people that want to do America harm? But you're absolutely right. You talk about the fentanyl epidemic. I know you have firsthand tragic experience with that.
Yep, we may have lost a shot. We may have lost Ben. If we can get him back, we will get him back. Do we have him? No? Yes? No? Okay, we lost a shot, guys. We're going to say thank you to Ben Bergquam. Again, Ben hosts the show Law and Border, Ben Bergquam. Really good information he keeps bringing us, and we'll continue to go to Ben. All right, folks, we'll be back. We have a lot more show after this. So you got a place that's not home but feels like home and you love to be there. There it is for me, Las Vegas, Nevada. That's the football stadium, the brand new football stadium. The hockey team, they love their hockey team. The Las Vegas Knights play on the Strip. This is on the other side of the Vegas Strip. It's about, a couple blocks from the Strip. Great brand new stadium, multi-billion-dollar stadium where the old Oakland Raiders, now the Las Vegas Raiders play. Amazing stadium to watch a football game. They can go hit the Strip and have some fun. All right, folks, you don't go out to buy a life jacket when the boat's already sinking, right? But you don't buy gold when the economy has already collapsed. Clearly, others are heeding this advice as gold hits all-time highs the first part of 2025. It's almost $3,000 an ounce. It's $2,917 an ounce today. It's not too late for you. The company I trust to help diversify my portfolio into physical gold is Birch Gold. Birch Gold specializes in helping you convert an existing IRA or 401k into a tax-sheltered IRA in physical gold, the real stuff, the coins, the bars, the yellow shiny stuff, for no money out of your pocket. Just listen to this 5-star review. Knowledgeable, helpful, non-pressure. That's what you get with Birch Gold. And that's why we've endorsed them for so long. Get your free info kit on gold by texting the word America to the number 989898. There's no obligation, just useful information. With an A+ rating from the Better Business Bureau and countless 5-star reviews, text America to 989898 and let the experts at Birch Gold help you secure your future today with gold. And by the way, gold never goes down. Well, it does. I shouldn't say that. It goes down, but when it goes down, it means it's a good opportunity to buy more. I love gold. I still own the first ounce of gold I've ever bought. I've bought a lot of gold in my life. I'll never sell it. Just going to keep gold. Gold is amazing. And the Birch Gold people are amazing too. The economy, we're healing. America, we're healing. The future of America looks brighter, and Democrats want no part of it. Democrats exalt a terrorist sympathizer and support. They march the streets on his behalf. They assault police officers. They protest, even threaten to take over a mayor's residence, but they attack the world's most successful entrepreneur. They post videos about praying for Elon Musk's assassination. And all over the world, they refer to Musk as a fascist and Trump as a fascist. People light stores selling the vehicles Tesla makes. I almost said Trump makes. Tesla makes. This is the state of the Democrat Party. They're torching Tesla stores. This is the state of the leftist machine. And they think we're stupid, you see, because they position the terrorist sympathizer as a victim, this guy, Mahmoud Khalil, as he galvanizes people and coordinates groups right here on our soil towards the total destruction of what we stand for, the shredding of America. They make claims that that guy is the victim of a violation of his First Amendment rights. Even though he's a resident who engages in illegal terrorist activities. And then you have an actual citizen who creates an abundance of jobs right here in America, who loves the country he lives in, who gives all of his time to help improve America, strengthening our economy and helping us reduce our debt to the detriment of his own companies. Somehow, Elon Musk is the villain.
Well, I'm going to buy, and I'm going to buy because, number one, it's a great product, as good as it gets. And number two, because this man has devoted his energy and his life to doing this. I think he's been treated very unfairly.
As a function of the great policies of President Trump and his administration, and as an act of faith in America, Tesla is going to double vehicle output in the United States within the next 2 years.
So the other guy, the terrorist, the actual terrorist, is celebrated by the left. The one who wants America gone is revered, while the one who's working actively to save America is the devil who should go back to where he came from. Got it, lefties. That's your new Democrat Party, folks. Maybe it's the old Democrat Party. Not sure. What a joke it is. They're trying to paint what Musk is, what he's doing with Doge, as dangerous and not important. Listen.
Well, look at the math. If Elon Musk says that he thinks he can find $1 trillion worth of waste, abuse, and fraud, why don't we let him try to see if he can find it? What does that hurt? You know, everybody's trying to be critical. They're attacking the message carrier. And, you know, the problem is that this money, you're going to see it going to politicians and going out to these NGOs and all these organizations that they claim they're doing a good job, and it's coming right back to Washington. Why don't y'all at CNN
I'm trying to do a little math with you. I'm trying to do some math with you, talking about math.
You all do not support one cut. CNN, you all do not support one dadgum cut in any of this stuff. You're trying to use the lowest denominator. You're trying to scare the most people to drive the train against Trump.
He's right. CNN doesn't like a single Doge cut. They're protesting Doge cuts, waste, fraud, and abuse of our taxpayer money, and the Democrats are protesting it. In a nutshell, that's it. The leftist machine can't take all the winning we're having, all the cost cutting, the cuts to spending. Like I've said here before, time and time again, the left hates President Trump that much that they like to see him, when he's implementing so much good for America, it pisses them off. And Elon Musk, well, he's just an extension of Trump. That's because here's the thing. Democrats were once really into the workings of Doge, actually.
There is no question that there is an enormous amount of waste and fraud and abuse in this government. There is no question to my mind that Congress has not been vigilant enough in rooting out that waste and fraud.
We cannot keep our promises on Medicare. We simply must make the cuts in waste, fraud, and abuse in Medicare so that the benefits and the premiums are untouched.
If we're going to eliminate the waste, fraud, and abuse in Medicare, it does mean we're going to cut some of that out. And when I hear my friend Dave Camp say you cannot cut money out of Medicare, well, we don't want to cut the good stuff that you point out. 1/3 of Medicare doesn't go to patient care. You can't just get up there and say, we don't want to cut anything out of Medicare. We want to cut the bad stuff and keep the good stuff.
Well, that was a very sobering Nancy, or should I say sober Nancy? Just kidding. Exactly right, Chucky Schumer. I hear Doge is hiring, by the way. That's right. Democrats were once really into trimming the fat, the waste, fraud, and abuse. You heard it there by all of them, until they realized how that very same fat could help make their wallets and bank accounts fatter. And they knew President Trump would trim that fat. That's part of why they fought against Trump so hard. The Trump administration is exposing their shady, shadowy web of payment schemes and corruption through our government agencies, NGOs, so-called foreign aid, and deep state and Soros-funded NGOs. And the Democrats hate it. They don't want the gravy train to end. And now they're shooting the messenger, Donald Trump, as the willing Trump soldier using Doge to cut the fat out Elon Musk. Democrats have successfully made Musk the face of what they hate the most, almost as much as Trump. And as always with Democrats, laws just don't matter. Property doesn't matter because it's time for some mostly peaceful terrorism, damn it. Because Trump has declared it domestic terrorism. But because it's anti-Trump, well, they just simply refuse to see it that way.
Some say they should be labeled domestic terrorists.
I will do that. I'll do it. I'm going to stop them. We catch anybody doing it because they're harming a great American company. Let me tell you, you do it to Tesla and you do it to any company, we're going to catch you and you're going to go through hell.
So just to be clear, you protest a private company, you are labeled by this administration a domestic terrorist.
Actually, no, lady on MSNBC. This isn't just about signs and protests, lady on MSNBC. They're destroying private property. They're torching Tesla dealerships. What are you thinking, lady on MSNBC? It's extremely dangerous, lady on MSNBC. Things could explode and seriously harm or kill people. I don't know. Maybe, lady on MSNBC? You all right with that? So I really don't care, lady on MSNBC. It's also interesting coming from a party that labeled parents who care about their children's education domestic terrorists. Remember that? Attorney General Merrick Garland said, parents that go to school board meetings are domestic terrorists. He wrote it in a note. Attorney General under Biden. That's when someone actually defaces private property in the name of politics and agenda. That is how somehow now domestic terrorism. I got it. So you see, I don't think we fully understand what's really behind these attacks on Elon Musk. I've told you. In fact, they used to love Elon Musk. They used to love Silicon Valley bro Elon Musk. They couldn't get enough of Elon Musk until he came to the side of Trump. Until Butler, Pennsylvania, he came to Trump's aid. They don't care about America. They want the destruction of this country. And while that's true, I also think it's far worse than that. The Trump derangement syndrome is so vile, so corrupt, and all-encompassing for the left, they've forced themselves to believe that if you're a success, like Trump or Musk, one of the most successful entrepreneurs in the world over, that makes you some sort of tyrant. This is the infection of Marxism, folks. And if you're a successful tyrant, by the way, then you must be punished, banished, beheaded. Never mind that the leftist machine has been sucking at the teat of the American taxpayer for years through USAID and shadowy NGOs. Never mind the insider trading, Nancy Pelosi and Paul Pelosi. And the fact that Elon Musk is threatening their gravy train is what scares the living daylights out of them. But you see, it's okay to them if you're a tyrant, as long as you're their tyrant, like George Soros. Am I right, Bill Gates? If you align with their socialist causes and give money to their causes, well, then you're a tyrant that they can tolerate. We're talking about cultism here. The left is a full-blown cult. And if you support President Trump in any way, shape, or form, to them, that's a sin. To their religion, it's a sin, plain and simple. And President Trump is so hated, he's literally the devil to them. And if you support him, Trump, in any way, shape, or form, then you're no different and you deserve the same fate. You're Lucifer. Where did I compare a terrorist? I don't know. Why did I even do that? Why did I compare a terrorist who wants to destroy America, Mahmoud Khalid, to Elon Musk, a man who wants to be a part of saving it? They are so opposite because that's the left's new religion. President Trump wanting to remove Mahmoud Khalil for his distinct ties to terrorism makes him good on their wild fantasies on the left. Saint Khalil, as they referred to him. But Elon Musk, for President Trump, heaping praise onto him for giving him, Musk, the power to cut down government waste, fraud, and abuse and improve the country, well, Musk must be the devil. When they light Teslas on fire, they think they're justified in doing so. President Trump is right declaring domestic terrorism on those people. But unfortunately, that won't stop them. The terrorist, Mahmoud Khalil, marches in support, also believe that what they do is justified. Killing, bombing, raping, breaking the law to show support for that kind of person is justified to them. In both cases, they just can't be reasoned with. And the sooner we truly understand how this twisted party works now, the better off we all are. We will be right back. Steve Bannon. Scranton. Why would we do Scranton? Isn't that where Biden grew up? Scranton?
He did.
Oh, man. Was that the Biden library they're building there? Fully filled with debt and Bidenomics. All right, let's bring in Mr. Stephen K. Bannon. Drop that banner, will you guys, so Steve can see what we're doing here. I have to put this microphone off to the side. Look, can you see me? Can you see us, Steve? Steve, you got that?
Now I have to put my glasses on. Hang on. What does that say? We want to sell that on our merch. We're launching a new merchandising site. We want to sell that.
Good news. I got 5 of them. I'll send them out to you. I'll send them out to your crew.
No. We got okay. Hold it. I love it.
We'll give Rob and Parker Sig one of them too.
Now hold it. I just want to make sure we're clear. I want to make a statement, just like Elon Musk made about President Trump. Right? I love Eric Bolling, but hey, it's not that kind of love. It's kind of the camaraderie. Whatever Elon Musk said about President Trump, right?
Yeah, we still know who's Musk. We still understand all that, right?
Just because Bolling now looks like a pirate, just because he officially looks like a pirate.
Do you know what I call my crew here? Gangsters and pirates. OG gangsters and pirates. That's exactly what we call our crew here. Hey, guys, by the way, Steve, loved. I listened to the whole podcast with you and Newsom this afternoon. I was listening to it. Listened to the whole hour and 7 minutes. So fantastic. Yeah. Loved how you just took it over. Listen, I know he tried to play nice, but you were brilliant. There was one line though that I just really kind of stuck out for me. Roll it, guys.
We have to become a manufacturing powerhouse again. Right. We have to do it quickly, and it's going to. Wall Street's not going to love it because they're all neoliberal neocons. They want to be invading everywhere, and they hate populism. One of the reasons people should understand is the blowback among the donor class and Wall Street is not just that they perceive the economics is not to their benefit, because you've concentrated wealth so dramatically here since the financial crash of 2008. Yep. But they hate the fact, and this shows you the Democratic Party. Remember, they hate the fact that they're empowering the populist. If we start to win on these tariffs, if we start to win on bringing these back, our movement is going to get bigger and bigger and bigger.
It's such an important point. I mean, you were really cogent on inflation. I kind of disagree with you a little bit on tariffs, whatever, but you made a great point about being external revenue versus internal revenue. Loved it. But that point right there, when we bring manufacturing back and it becomes a populist movement, they can't stop us.
They can't stop us. If the President Trump pulls off this massive reshoring and really making us reindustrializing America, making us a manufacturing superpower, the working class will then be even more empowered. It'll be such a massive victory that President Trump got for us that it's going to be, you're going to demographically, we have 39% of African American men now. We'll have 65%. The Hispanics will have 65%, 2/3, 1/3, and then we're unbeatable. Then we govern for 50 years. It's like the 1932 realignment. Eric, you add the Make America Healthy Again crew with us, right? Those kind of disaffected moms. We're unstoppable. The Bobby Kennedys, the Tulsi Gabbards. If I can just convince you, if I can get your mind right on tariffs, if I can get Eric Bolling's mind, if I can get all the Fox out of Eric Bolling and get his mind right on tariffs,
I'm a free marketeer. Yeah, listen, I believe that if it's too expensive to do business there, the world will find a way. The market will find a way. The free market will make it better to do business over there. It's me. Anything government gets involved with in the market always I almost said the bad word, screws it up. And tariff is a government influence on the free market for me. But I'm getting there, Steve. I'm getting there. I'm working on it. Hey, very quickly, why is Newsom doing this? Why is Newsom bringing Charlie Kirk and Steve Bannon on? I think he's using you guys as like really good sparring partners, because if he can spar with you in 2028, he's got no problems.
I'm going to keep you for the first minute of war. Here's what I think. I think it's, I believe you look at the two, I always look at presidents as brackets. The bracket here, you've got the governor's bracket. You got Whitmer. You got Shapiro. You got the governor of the Commonwealth of Kentucky,
Illinois,
right? Brashear. You've got Illinois, Pritzker. You got Polis. The governor's bracket is powerhouses, is packed. He wants to get out of since the California model is so broken, he wants to get out of the governor's bracket, and he wants to get to what I call the celebrity bracket: Stephen A. Smith, Mark Cuban, Rahm Emanuel, Pete Buttigieg, and of course Gavin Newsom. He's going to attack right to do that.
Well, I highly suggest, I'm going to give it over to you, but I highly suggest, folks, if you're listening to a podcast, listen to that one, because it was 85% Steve Bannon. Was fantastic. Good job, brother. See you tomorrow.
It's fantastic. Thank you, brother. Appreciate you. Eric Bolling, a gangster and a pirate. I guess he's a gangster and he's got a pirate crew. Okay, breaking news. We're going to go immediately to President Trump's going to go in the East Room momentarily for the official press conference with the Prime Minister of Ireland. We're going to have a little bit of time here beforehand, before Brian Glenn takes it over. Then we'll have time on the back end. But right now, breaking news on Capitol Hill. Let's go to our cold open for the 5 o'clock show.
All right, welcome back. We've got some breaking news on Capitol Hill. The Senate Minority Leader, Chuck Schumer, just announced that Senate Democrats are preparing to block the government funding bill that was passed by House Republicans last night. Our CNN chief congressional correspondent Manu Raju on the Hill, as per usual. Manu, what did we learn from Schumer here? I mean, this big question was, were Democrats going to stand and fight? Were they going to view it as important to keep the lights on? The deadline's Friday. I think my question is, I mean, how much of this is real, that we could actually face a shutdown here, and how much of it is them needing to show that they are fighting?
Well, they definitely need to show that they're fighting to a lot of Democrats who want, see this as really it is their first piece of leverage to push back against everything that Donald Trump has done so far, because their votes are needed in the Republican-led Senate in order to overcome a filibuster attempt. They need 60 votes to overcome a filibuster. The Senate is controlled 53-47 by the GOP. We expect one Republican senator to vote against it, which means there needs to be at least 8 Democrats to vote yes. And what Chuck Schumer just said on the Senate floor just moments ago was that there would not be 60 votes. There would not be at least 8 Democrats to break a filibuster.
Join us to avoid a shutdown. Funding the government should be a bipartisan effort, but Republicans chose a partisan path, drafting their continuing resolution without any input from congressional Democrats. Because of that, Republicans do not have the votes in the Senate to invoke cloture on the House CR. Our caucus is unified on a clean April 11th CR that will keep the government open and give Congress time to negotiate bipartisan legislation that can pass. We should vote on that. I hope our Republican colleagues will join us to avoid a shutdown on Friday.
Now, a CR means continuing resolution, which is essentially an extension of government funding. What Schumer is calling for there is a 1-month extension of government funding. But the Republicans are just not going to go for that. So that really was going to leave Democrats with a choice here in the Republican-led Senate. They can vote for the House plan, which they are opposing, because it does have cuts to domestic programs. It does nothing to constrain Donald Trump or Elon Musk or the efforts to purge the federal government. So they can vote to accept that House plan, which extends government funding until the end of September. Or they could line up and do what Chuck Schumer said right there, block this plan, and that could lead to a shutdown. And that has actually caused, Casey, a lot of consternation, a lot of concern among Senate Democrats. They don't know how long the shutdown could go on for. They don't know what Trump would do if their government is shut down. Perhaps he could go even further in his effort to purge the federal workforce and shut down government agencies, which is why a lot of Democrats are still uncertain, despite Schumer's declaration, whether they would actually stand firm and block this plan, or whether come Friday, when we expect that key procedural vote to happen, where they'll vote to advance it and eventually let this become law. But if they do that, there'll be a lot of backlash from a lot of Democrats who want to see their party fight in their first piece of leverage against Donald Trump.
This is the primal scream of a dying regime.
Pray for our enemies, because we're going medieval on these people. You're not got a free shot on all these networks lying about the people. The people have had a belly full of it.
I know you don't like hearing that. I know you try to do everything in the world to stop that, but you're not going to stop it. It's going to happen.
And where do people like that go to share the big lie? MAGA media. I wish in my soul, I wish that any of these people had a conscience.
Ask yourself, what is my task and what is my purpose? If that answer is to save my country, this country will be saved.
War Room. Here's your host, Stephen K. Bannon.
It's Wednesday, 12 March, year of our Lord 2025. Ladies and gentlemen, that is pretty big news. Before the President of the United States walks in with the Prime Minister of Ireland, it's kind of the traditional, St. Paddy's Day celebration of our culture, etc. They're going to do a formal press conference in the East Room. Brian Glenn will be there. They have not opened up the East Room yet, so we have a few minutes here beforehand. We are going to go for the entire press conference, and they always ask great questions. Maybe Brian Glenn will get one in, and then we'll come back to the programming and hopefully get Brian Glenn up here. So that's all to happen. 8 o'clock tonight, Eastern Standard Time. We're going to live stream on all of our channels the debate in Wisconsin for the Supreme Court justice. We recommend everybody come into that. Tomorrow, we're actually going to be teed up beforehand with the chairman of the GOP. He's going to break it all down for us. We're going to try to get him in before the president comes in. Also, tomorrow, we'll have a breakdown in polling afterwards where that stands, and we'll have the ability for you how you can do out-of-state phone banking. We understand the Warren Posse, phones blown up, people want to go to work, ready to stretch the legs and get back to it. So right there, the Democrats, President Trump put them in a box. The House Republicans voted on a CR and then left town. Pretty cocky. I kind of dig it. Very Trump move. And Schumer, as of this morning, the thinking was they were going to get 60 votes to break cloture.